It's Columbus Day to some, Indigenous Peoples Day to others, but around here, it's just plain old Monday and we're back at work. The news out of Syria just goes from bad to worse. Turkish forces are overrunning Kurdish positions and more people are fleeing for their lives. Things are so bad for the Kurds, they are now trying to cut a deal with the Syrian president, Bashar Assad, and the Russians for protection. Turkey, our other ally in the region, is escalating their attacks, and President Trump has ordered U.S. troops out of Syria altogether. As always, keep checking thehill.com for updates. And in other news, Donald Trump shoots up a church, fake video on fake news. It happened again. Another unarmed African American killed at home in Texas. Louisiana runoff on the way. Can a conservative Democrat win again in the Bayou? I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. It's the video everybody's talking about today. American Priority, a group supporting President Donald Trump, showed a video last weekend at the Trump Doral Resort that has people up in arms. This thing is graphic. The video depicts a fake President Trump slaughtering fictitious victims in a so-called church of fake news. The victims have faces of President Trump's political opponents, such as Senator John McCain, Barack Obama, Maxine Waters, and Hillary Clinton. Other victims were covered with logos of a broad range of news outlets, including CNN, Vice News, The Washington Post, and even our own brand, The Hill. It appears to be taken from a particularly violent scene in the 2014 movie Kingsman: The Secret Service. The New York Times obtained the video first, but now you can find it here on YouTube. The president's son, Don Jr., and Sarah Huckabee Sanders attended the conference, and all of them, including the event organizers, denied being aware of this video. The White House Correspondents Association condemned the video in a statement, saying, "We have previously told the president his rhetoric could incite violence. Now we call on him and everybody associated with this conference to denounce this video and affirm that violence has no place in our society." This morning, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said the president hadn't seen the video, but based on what he's heard, he condemns it. Why you should care? Real gunmen have gone into a real church in South Carolina and a synagogue in Pennsylvania and killed people for political reasons. News organizations have received threats and real mail bombs. We've had threatening moments here. Republican Congressman Steve Scalise and Democratic Congresswoman Gabby Giffords have both actually been shot while serving the country. The point of democracy is to fight our battles out in legislative and courtroom battles, not in firefights, and we need political groups to take their roles responsibly. A white police officer fatally shot Atatiana Jefferson, a black resident, in her home during the early hours of the morning in Fort Worth, Texas. She was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. The officer was responding to a phone call from the 28-year-old's neighbor who had noticed that her door was left open. According to a statement released by the Fort Worth Police Department, upon arrival, officers saw a person standing near a window and, after perceiving a threat, fired at the individual without identifying themselves. The person in question was Atatiana Jefferson. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Body camera footage shows the officers never properly identified themselves as police. It also shows the officer who killed Jefferson shot his weapon less than a second after warning Jefferson to put up her hands. While Fort Worth police have not yet named the officer who killed Jefferson, the agency did confirm that he is a white male, has been with the force since 2018, and is being placed on leave pending an investigation. Why you should care. The tragic incident has rocked the black community of Fort Worth and drawn national attention. Jefferson's death is being compared to the 2018 killing of Dallas resident Botham Jean. Jean was also killed by a white police officer in his own apartment. According to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, this is the 7th local police shooting involving a civilian since June. Residents feel like they can't call the police for help, fearing for their lives if they do. Here's James Smith, the neighbor who first called in the police to check on Jefferson.
It makes you not want to call the police department. If you don't feel safe with the police department, then who do you feel safe with?
We have to do better, people. Anti-abortion Democrat John Bel Edwards was not able to hold off his Republican challengers in his race to be re-elected governor of Louisiana on Saturday. Governor Edwards came in first place with 47%, but he needed 50% plus one vote to avoid a runoff. His opponent in the runoff will be a Republican businessman, Eddie Raspone, who has the support of President Donald Trump. Many observers believe that a head-to-head matchup will be tougher for the conservative Democrat, as the two GOP candidates in the first election got a combined 51% of the vote. President Trump is claiming victory for holding Edwards under 50, but keep in mind, Louisiana is already a pretty conservative state, and Edwards is the only Democratic governor elected in the Deep South. Now, why you should care. If you're a Democrat, does it matter whether or not a conservative like Edwards gets elected? President Barack Obama thought so. He recorded an automated message for Edwards praising his expansion of Medicaid for citizens in the Bayou State. For Republicans, winning this governor's mansion will restore the solid lock the GOP has on southern states and hold off any kind of Democratic resurgence. The runoff election is 5 weeks away. We'll let you know what happens. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos, and head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.